Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. It is 6:30 p.m. First, I'd like to just mention that today we learned that Red Rock Indian Band manager, Mr. Kelly Pakanainen, passed away. Our condolences to his family, Red Rock Indian Band, Chief and Council, and the community as a whole. We've worked with Kelly quite a bit over the last few years, and he'll be missed. Sorry. Okay, Council of the Township of Red Rock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty, and that the land we gather on is home to the Red Rock Indian Band, the Anishinaabe and Métis people. Okay, everybody has the agenda. Is there a mover and seconder to, are there any amendments to the agenda? No? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Muir, Councillor Brand. Any discussion? It is 6:32. Can I have a mover and seconder to go into closed session under the authorities printed in the agenda? Councillor Muir, Councillor Eby. All in favor? I think I said that last one. Motion's passed. So rising from closed session, we did discuss, we received a letter on the recommendation, or the CAO reached out to Superior North EMS on any discussions on the future of the EMS building. We've been informed that the site selection is located. Not in favor of this. We don't think that they did their due diligence as they didn't reach out to Red Rock and come and look at our location. So it's ongoing, and we're going to continue to address this as a whole, as a council as a whole. Okay, moving on. Open session minutes of the July 21st meeting. Everybody have them? Can I have a mover and seconder to approve the open session minutes? Meeting July 21st. Councillor Muir, Councillor Eby. All in favor? Motion's carried. Correspondence. So we have nothing for municipalities. Okay, 6.2, we have the forestry announcement from NOMA. Any discussion? Seeing none. 6.3, the softwood lumber anti-dumping duties. Any questions or comments? Sorry, Chris, I'm going to keep forgetting to look that way. Okay, 6.4, nipping. Other agenda. Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Okay, AMO briefing note from the Thunder Bay District Health Unit. Questions or comments? So Mark is attending the AMO conference next week. What was that? That was 6.5. Okay, 6.6, welcome to Dr. Andrea Zapsik. So everybody knows, Red Rock born and raised, Andrea Zapsik is doing her 2-year residency in Nipigon. So we welcome her. That is great. 6.7, letter calling for upgrades to Highway 1117. No questions or comments. 6.8, Bednor announcement. Okay, 6.9, third quarterly OMPF allocation, Ministry of Finance. Questions or comments? No? Okay, 6.10, letter of support request under, no, Nipigon District Memorial Hospital. And that's to Quad Council, correct?
So through you, Mayor Robinson, the request initiated with Quad Council because we won't be meeting with Quad Council till tentatively scheduled for, I believe it's December or November. The request then came back for us to bring it as individual communities as time sensitive. So that's why it's in front of you today. What we would do is then get the direction from you and then provide that that letter back directly from the Township of Red Rock alone.
I think we're all in favor of supporting this. Yeah. Okay, moving on, 6.11, Statement of Canada's Softwood Lumber Industry. Any questions or comments? Okay. Okay, next up, we have 8.1. So we have no reports on committees, boards, or agencies. 8.1 is the Community Development Officer report. Welcome, Ashley. Okay, does anyone have any questions or comments, or would you like her just to highlight a couple things?
Good evening. So some of the main highlights are we already proceed with the next stage of the bridge repair on the Trout Creek Bridge. So we're looking at some underwater work to repair the pilings on Bent 7. So this will be about a 1-week closure, and we're looking at the beginning of October for that closure. So there have been some material delays, but so far everything has gone ahead with the letter of advice from Department of Fisheries and Oceans and the MNR. So we're looking at October. Once again, we'll be given plenty of notice to complete our traffic control plan, and the school board will be notified of the exact dates that will impact bus routes, as well as contact with CP for patrolling the railway crossing on Red Rock Road number 1. Next highlight is the Paiute Mountain Run that was held last Saturday. We had 60 registrants and 51 participating due to the weather. There were 34 early bird registrants. Mary Lee Chase of Thunder Bay was the early bird winner. We had participants from Winnipeg and St. Paul, Manitoba, Nova Scotia, Killaloe, Atikokan, and Denmark, as well as from across the region. There were 6 local participants. Jamie Lynn Ratcliffe was our top local winner. Finn Dodgson of Thunder Bay had our fastest time at 44 minutes and 51 seconds, even with the torrential downpours. So reviewing our post-race participant survey so far, I've received 30 of them, all positive feedback. They're looking forward to coming back next year and hoping to keep the Paiute tradition alive. We did have 36 volunteers who stuck out the rain. So definitely a big shout out to all of our volunteers, and everybody appreciated the luncheon provided afterwards. We did receive about $3,000 of in-kind donations through prizes and support, and $3,000 in financial donations towards the Paiute. The NOHFC Rural Enhancement Stream, so that's our recreation center roof. So that has been approved. We'll be seeing some work going on in November and some early spring. Continuing to work on the playground equipment. I've got a couple quotes from various companies, and possible layouts will be presented at a future meeting with budget and various design features. Continuing to investigate the dock replacement and possible eligibility with the Rural Ontario Development Program, as we have one dock that is in deteriorating that may need to be done. So those are kind of the main summary of activities. Were there any questions from that portion? No? Okay. In the direction discussion update section, an update on that, since the time of submitting this report, I will not be proceeding with an application as we didn't find a suitable project that meets the immediate direction of council, so we will not be submitting a NISA application at this time. So that's all I've got in terms of highlights.
Okay, so for some reason I can't bring up your report. So can you repeat the dock replacement or the funding? Because remember when we were at that Lake Superior Marine, that stakeholder meeting, and they said that they had funding with.
Yeah,
with
so
the-
we've discussed that.
Okay.
Ashley and I have discussed that, and that it is a funding model that we're very sure we're going to use.
Okay.
And if you remember correctly, with those discussions, they talked about small piles of money, small pots of money. So we're thinking as a direction, we discussed this again today. So the larger grant for the larger docks, the smaller pile of money, say for our critter dock, so we can rebuild that, right? So it's kind of, so we are aware of that. Ashley's actually, there's a deadline coming up for those funds.
Yes.
With them quite shortly, and we'll meet that deadline and make sure we get those applications in.
Great. Councilor Mayor?
Just with regard to the playground equipment and stuff, are we going to do a bit of a census through the community to see what, people would be looking for? Because I know we have the infant swing out there because that was per request. But yeah, I mean, there's things that maybe people want that are cheaper, like a Gaga ball pit or something like that. And those are $3,800. So just wondering if we're going to approach the community at all to see if there's any input.
So back in 2022, when we did our community strategic plan, the playground was a big portion of that, and we received a fair bit of input regarding what would be included in a play structure back in 2022. So a lot of that information is still very relevant to the design of a new playground. It also depends on the amount of space that we have. So currently, by one quote that I have included a playground structure plus a round swing, like a disc swing, an infant swing, a toddler swing, and only one standard belt swing, and that was about $150,000. By expanding it even more and adding another set of swings, you're looking at 180. But when we add additional swings, that takes up that much more space. So it would almost, just by adding 2 extra swings, would take from the single tree that's in the corner of the playground now, closest to the log driver, almost all the way over to the rocks. So that entire area would be used. So if we added additional items, then it would significantly increase the budget. So it would ultimately decide on how much council wishes to spend and where the funding would be available. So right now it's the quote gathering with various different components that we can then kind of mix and match. But I'm going off of the items that were requested based off of the 2022 Community Strategic Planning Survey.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, people, I know people wanted certain things, and yeah, you need areas for swings and everything else. So it's not like we can just cram everything in one spot. So
yeah,
realistically, when you are looking, and the prices are huge on them.
yes.
So
and the thing to keep in mind is there are what's called no encroachment zones.
Yep.
So then some of these, especially for swings, are quite significant, and you can't even have trees that could grow branches over that encroachment zone when it comes to building.
And usually maintenance and inspections as well too, the wood
Yeah.
chips and everything else. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it can get quite costly. That's why something like a Gaga ball pit, cheap, right?
Yeah.
It's kick around ball, little spot, little soccer pitch, things like that. So, okay, yeah, thanks, Ashley.
If it is the will of council, we can do another community survey. Trying to avoid community survey fatigue as much as possible. So, yeah.
Any other questions or comments on Ashley's report? Okay, seeing none. You can have a mover and seconder for motion to accept the report as presented. Councilor Brand, Councilor Muir. All in favor? Motion's carried. Thanks, Ashley. Okay, next we have a report from Fire Chief through the CAO. Does anyone have any questions or comments on that report? Councilor Brand?
2 questions. Under the summary, removing the equipment tools off the truck and around the station that don't meet the NFPA standards. Did we at one point discuss possibly selling those? And if, or can we sell them if we hadn't? And so that's my first question on that one. And then under the meetings and discussions with COO regarding the fire department operations and retrofit to the new fire truck. If we do any retrofits, does that void any warranties we have on the
So I think I'll speak to that, those questions, and if there's a differing, I'll speak to the fire chief. But I think on the older equipment that doesn't meet the NFPA standards, fire chief has a policy for that. I believe a lot of that older equipment gets donated. I think we've answered that question in a previous meeting, but I can verify that. And as for the retrofit of the new vehicle, this is our highway unit. So this was approved by council to purchase and retrofit a highway unit. That's what we did. That's the direction we have. The vehicle will have warranty still based on powertrain. But when we bought the vehicles, they were very close to the end of warranty cycles anyway. Again, we're retrofitting a truck that was passed through a budget and approved and directed to do by council.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the report as presented? Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir. All in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, next we have Public Works and Facilities. Mr. Klein. Welcome. Okay, so do we have any questions or comments on his report? Or we'll let him go through it?
And so first off, we, in work regarding the landfill, so basically we provided some support, access to the site for Pynchon to do a drone survey and for the test pits. Mark, myself, and David Hurd did a walk through the site as well to look at some of the concerns from the outstanding inspection report that was done, items 1 through 3 that are responsible to us. And we're looking at probably next week into going through and then start implementing some of those plans. We do have a firm deadline date of October 31st to get these things completed. And being out there a couple of times over the weekend, I would say that as soon as we get the action item done, we've got to get photographs right away, right? Because if not, it's just going to, it's windblown stuff and stuff that animals have dug up again, right? So it's things we're going to address here, hopefully sooner than later. Second thing, probably on some of your minds, is the hydrant. That's been an issue for months, if not years. So the original plan was to rebuild one of our existing hydrants, one of our spares. That's no longer feasible. So we need to purchase another hydrant to replace that one on Brompton Road. The price for that's going to be, with all the associated fittings, probably $8,000 to $10,000 for material. Then it's the install. In preparation for the install, we are testing the isolation valves so we can segregate that one section of the Brompton Road. 2 valves do not work, do not function. So we've actually implemented a strategy to test all of the valves. So when an event happens like last winter, last spring, we actually know which ones are functioning, which ones aren't, and then we'll develop a plan on how to repair, replace, maintain the ones that don't work for us. So there will be some upcoming work. So before the hydrant can get done, those isolation valves need to be repaired or replaced, and then we can move forward from there. Other than that, 1 month into the role, and lots of work, lots of catch-up work to do. And I think we're going to try and get from being a reactive focus to a proactive focus, right? Where we look at preventative things versus waiting for something bad to happen and then react to it. So we're in the midst of putting some inspection and maintenance programs in place, whether it be streetlights, equipment, buildings, etc. Just common day-to-day stuff that's going to make things easier for us down the road. Any questions and comments?
Councillor Muir?
Yeah, so just, I saw recreation center on there. So next meeting, I'm probably gonna ask you about the rink and the ice and what your recommendation would be to put that in. Because it's I'm thinking there's possibilities of getting some programming into Red Rock the sooner we get the ice in.
Yeah.
So that's something that's, I know there's some buzzing going around that. But yeah, definitely hoping everything's in good condition. I know it's only been a month and I can see it looks good out there right now. And yeah, it's a lot of work.
And so with the rec center, not wait until the last second. Say, yeah, we want the ice in by this date, and we'll start doing work here into September in preparation. Inspections have to be done. Equipment needs to be confirmed suitable for that. A couple other notes on the recreation center. Mel wanted additional equipment in there. She's purchased that equipment so she can service more easily tournaments as such, right? So now, obviously, that place is kind of limited to electrical power. So I've had Reggie Emov come in. We did a walkthrough, and he's giving us some pricing on how we can get some extra outlets in there for her pizza warmer, hot dog, milkshake machines, all those kind of things. So hopefully, when he gets back with some of that, we can get some work done in there, and off we go from there.
Sounds good. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Avey?
It's very encouraging initial report. Thank you for the proactive, thank you for the review, thank you for the information sharing. This is what we hope for. So appreciate your effort today.
Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you and welcome. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the report as presented? Councillor Muir, Councillor Avey, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thank you.
Perfect. I'll be around.
Okay, 8.4, we have administrative activities. Report from Mark.
Yeah, thank you. I think we can go through the summary and then we can field some questions at the end. That's summary of activity. Some of it will overlap just and that's just a little bit of the transition with Wayne coming in as well. But again, just highlighting the process at the landfill with Pinchin and the testing and the pit testing along with the drone surveys for that. So we're working through that process. Wayne's taken a lead again on that. So we have a really good handle on that. Just kind of an update. I sat in again on a municipal working group with circular materials. So again, I have a second community webinar that hopefully is a bit more informative tomorrow. Friday. But what this is recycling for the communities, and it's a mandate of the province that brings recycling to all communities in Ontario, effective January 1st, 2026 for us in Red Rock, because we offer residential curbside at the moment. We don't offer residential curbside landfill, so garbage. We don't offer recycling currently. So that's why we're mandated as of the 2026 date. So we're working through a lot of the regulations on that now, as well as they are. Again, I sat in a webinar last week, probably the third one now, and it's still, the information still isn't there. I know Councillor Muir and I met even with some of the commercial buildings, because right now this process is for residential collection only. And it's served as what they call the producer is bearing the cost. So the community will not bear the costs of this. So we're seeing this transforming now. We're seeing it already in a lot of communities that have had curbside recycling in the past. So they had an earlier date. I'm hoping to get a lot more information again on this Friday, as well as that AMO coming up, and then I'll bring Wayne in on board on these discussions as well. But again, that's where the province is going in 2026, and we'll continue to follow that and bring council the updates on that. The BMI site tour, I was unable to attend that day, but Wayne attended, so we were there representing Red Rock for the BMI site tour that kind of came out of the discussions at the Nipigon Bay delisting group. So Wayne took the tour. Again, it's fantastic having Wayne around to lighten that load for all of us, and it's going very well. So. The next highlight, I guess if we wanted to go through is, well, we'll go through the report, and then we'll go to the budget variance at the end, because they're attached documents as to this. But again, discussion, direction, and updates. Annual AMO conference coming up. I will be attending. I will be there from Sunday to Tuesday. I believe it is Sunday to Wednesday. So I'll be there. The next one is one that's kind of new. It's to council, and I just it kind of unfolded in the last week. Started a while ago, but so Brian Davis, a member of the Rotary Club, has approached me about a bench that the Rotary Club would like to donate to the Township of Red Rock. Their preferred site would be between Saunders and Dampier's. And what they have for us is $1,000. So with that nod of council, I would then more than likely hand this project to our project team, and they can work on that and work with Brian. If council's okay with two things: accepting a donation of $1,000 towards a bench. I did a quick look at it. And I think we could meet that and find a pretty nice bench. And number two would be the location, if council was okay. The location isn't in stone, but there's a couple of requests of the location, that it's accessible and it's visible. So that would be their preferred location. And if we get that direction, I would then just pass that on to staff, and we'd get a bench donated. I think the final request was just a plaque that was on it that acknowledged that it was from the Rotary Club, and then the install as part of our public works crew, or our crew, to install the bench. So I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great project, and just looking for that direction of council.
I don't think there's anyone's going to say no to that, so we're approving that.
So any questions on the report before we go into the budget variance, and we can answer any questions there, and I can give a highlight of those. Yeah. So if we click right on to the budget variance report and reporting our financials for the township. So if you look at Q1, so budget variance for Q1, I think the highlight of what you see is the fact that if you look at a budget on a scale of 4 quarters, it's very easy to see that in this first quarter, we should be around that 75% number left in our budget, and we are. So we're right on target with our budget for that process. So Q1, we don't certainly see any issues. And I'm not sure Q1 or Q2 as we put them together when we report. I mean, the only abnormality or strange number you might see is the fact that we incurred significant costs this year for water and freeze ups, right? So that's an unbudgeted item, and that $40,000. But Q1 is right on target. Of course, Q1 is long gone, but as we report to council, if we go to Q2, what you'd want to see in those numbers again is the fact that about 50% of our budget is spent, and that's the best way to look at it, and that's really exactly what we're on target for. So I think we've budgeted accordingly. Again, a budget is your best guess of what's going to happen in the future, but it's a controlled guess, right? You learn what what you need, what happens historically, and you hope that you don't get water freeze ups and things like that. So, but you prepare for those as well. So I think the general report, financial report for the Township of Red Rock in a quarterly variance is very good. It's positive. We're right on target, and very proud of that.
Great job on that, Mark. Thanks. Are there any questions or comments on that? Councillor Muir?
Yeah, great job. Honestly, like to have this visual there quarterly, it's thanks for putting that together.
And just last, I think it would be remiss if I didn't mention the weekend. Ashley covered Live from the Rock, or sorry, Ashley covered Paiute in her run. To thank Live from the Rock, right? And we've got a big member, a big part of Live from the Rock sitting here this evening. And again, it's a great event for the community, and we're glad to help. And thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments on Mark's report? Okay, seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder to approve the report? Oh, Councillor Eby.
Just, we're really quick to point out when there's issues of concern coming forth, but I want you to know the quiet confidence that comes from this type of financial report. The attention to detail, the forecasting, the responsiveness when the unexpected comes. It is nice to have that confidence in you and your team. So thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the report as presented? Councillor Muir, Councillor Eby, all in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, 8.5 is the deeming bylaw. Everybody's had a chance to read it. Understand what we have done this once before, right? Combined property, so it shouldn't be new to us. And everybody seen the application. Are there any questions or comments to ask? No? Okay, moving on to the resolution. Or the bylaw. That's what I meant. Okay, bylaw 2025-1933, the deeming bylaw. Can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve? Councillor Brand, Councillor Muir. All in favor? Motion's carried. You're not going too fast, right? Okay. I got no more paper copies here, so. Okay. So nothing under new business, unfinished business. I think that's still all ongoing.
Yeah, I think if we wanted to touch on unfinished, I mean, just briefly as an update, I think unless I was the student counselor, I think we were moving that until the new school season. Agenda question period, hoping to have something to council for next meeting. At least as a start to introducing that again, just to confirm on the question period. It's questions from the audience based on agenda items, right? Okay, and the process on that, and then we'll continue to follow up on Frag Mighty. So I mean, at this point, if council's comfortable, I would probably just remove the student counselor from the discussion, because we know we're bringing that forward, and even Frag Mighty's at this time, because we know our direction on that. So and I think we'd be done with unfinished as we bring question period back. So we'll just more than likely remove those 3 items and know that we're bringing them back in our note.
Sounds good. Okay, we don't have to go back into closed session. So now it is the confirming bylaw. So a mover and seconder to confirm proceedings of council. Councillor Muir, Councillor Eby. All in favor? Motion's granted. Okay. Now that is, thank you everyone. And that's the end of the meeting. September, what's that? Time? Time being 7:32. I'd like to call this meeting to over. Next meeting, I believe, is September 2nd, correct?
I think so. It's a holiday weekend, right? So
Right,
it's the.
so it's on the Tuesday. It's on the, yeah, on the Tuesday. Okay, good night, everybody.